Daniel Ives, Wedbush Securities. Good morning, Dan, and thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, great to be here.
Well, Dan, more than a quarter of stocks in the Nasdaq 100 are in bear markets, down at least 20% from their 52-week highs. Where do you see the index at the end of the year? And I'm not talking only about a Nasdaq 100, of course. I'm also talking about a Nasdaq composite.
Yeah, look, I view this as just a buying opportunity. I think it's another head fake we've seen with some of the worries about the 10-year and rates rising. You know, similar to our call back in June, July, we view Nasdaq 16,000 year-end target. I think any of these dips are buying opportunities for FANG names, cloud, cybersecurity. So to us, this is the time to sort of double down on tech, not time to wave the white flag.
Yeah, I was about to ask you, so is this the time to buy the dip? I just wanted to highlight the fact that few of the Nasdaq 100 bears are actually Pinduoduo, Baidu, Zoom. Few of the stocks are actually Chinese stocks. What do we do with them?
Well, Chinese stocks, I think it's a whole nother issue. I mean, today, I don't think you could really own Chinese tech. I think that's why more and more there's been a rotation from Chinese tech to U.S. tech, just given the regulatory crackdown in Beijing that's really been unprecedented. But in terms of just the fundamentals, just take a step back, the digital transformation, $2 trillion of spending that we see in the next 4 to 5 years, that's what you're playing here. And that's why, you know, a 10, 20 bit move in the 10-year doesn't move our multi-year bull thesis in tech. And that's why I continue to focus on the secular winners across cloud, cybersecurity, big tech, you know, in terms of Microsoft, Apple, Amazon.
What is going to be the main driver for the tech sector in this final quarter of the year?
Well, I think it starts over the next month. I think earnings for 3Q are going to be significantly better than the street is expecting. I think we're also going to go into a strong holiday season, as well as a budget flush that we're going to see for enterprises across areas such as cloud, enterprise spend. And I think what we're going to start to see, you know, those prognosticators will talk about, you know, rates moving up in the 10-year. But I think as we go into the next 6 to 12 months, scarcity of growth names. And I think that comes front and center in terms of what we see as just massive fundamental outperformance when we get to 3Q earnings as we get into late October.
Are you concerned about this negative correlation between higher treasury yields and, of course, negative performance of the tech sector that you've just mentioned, that if this was about to continue in the upcoming quarter?
Yeah, look, I think, I mean, as someone that's covered tech 20 plus years in the street, we've been through cycles like this before. If I go back 2012, 2013, it starts to have that sort of negative correlation. But that's why I think ultimately, when you look at the growth in tech and you look at the risk on, I think that's going to continue. Now, ultimately, there'll be a maniacal focus on the 10-year, but you know, I think this is something that will play out as the fundamental outperformance is there. I also think chip shortage starts to moderate into the first half of 2022, and that's been about a, call it 10% overhang on tech stocks as that starts to moderate.
And of course, then a final take. I was wondering if we had to do a stock picking, what are you betting on?
I think for cloud, Microsoft, and that's a name I still see about 25-30% upside. Still play the super cycle in terms of Apple. I think iPhone 13 well ahead, about 10% ahead of expectations. And then look at names like cybersecurity, names like Zscaler or ZS, and then one of our favorites, Matterport, which is called a 3D real estate play. And I think these are the opportunities now, and then not the time to cover risk off. I think there's a time, green light tech, 16,000 Nasdaq when the ball drops Times Square.
Thank you very much. Dan Ives, Managing Director, Equity Research, Wedbush Securities. Thank you, and of course, have a great weekend. Talk to you soon, hopefully.